We don't even have anything good to say before the show, and now it's gonna suck.
No, I think I'll probably piece things together and make it sound like it all happened.
You're gonna make it sound funny.
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna play audio clips from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
You should play some from The Mask too. Smoking.
No, The Mask 2. I thought you meant like the sequel where the mask is a baby.
Dog?
No, the mask is a baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Son of Mask. I've never seen it, but it's a baby finds the mask and becomes Baby Mask.
That would be the worst show ever. I'm glad I didn't know that existed. Hello, Internets. I'm Joe.
I'm Eric.
And I work the midnight shift.
And you're listening to Just Cool Enough. And seriously, why didn't they send me a fucking message? Hey, you've been accepted to the Steam fucking and Source Filmmaker shit. No, I have to constantly check every day, and then suddenly it's just fucking there. No, that's not acceptable. You need to send me the picture. I see all these pictures of people I got an invite. Nobody invited me. It just fucking showed up. I'm pissed. It's probably been there for 2 days.
It's probably been there for last week because they invited everyone else at the end of last week.
God damn it, I got mine too. Son of a bitch.
No, I've been checking literally
every second.
Yeah, I check constantly. I was I'm bored. Let's see if it's in my Steam library. It's not there. But
so anybody who doesn't know what's going on with Steam, do you care to explain what happened with the Steam Source Filmmaker, whatever thing it's called?
Yeah, we mentioned it I think last week or the week before that Valve is doing the Source Filmmaker, which is the program they use to make all the TF2 meet those and the Dota video and it's all that
far
stuff.
More superior version of Gary's mod.
Yeah,
it's Super Gary's mod.
Yeah, it's focused on filmmaking and stuff. It's a really awesome tool, and they finally released a sort of semi-public beta that you have to get invited to, and they just have been randomly sending out invites to people, and I didn't get an invite, but then today I fucking look and it's just fucking sitting there in my library, and I'm like, God,
I'm glad you told me because now I can install it on mine too. I didn't think to look.
Yeah, exactly, right? Jesus. Ugh.
Hey,
so
did you see? Did you see that? Really? No, I'm cutting you off because it's about Valve.
Expect. I'm just gonna keep saying expect every time you say.
Expect. Did you see? Speaking of Valve, the Meet the Pyro 2.
No.
Valve put out a Meet the Pyro 2. And the pyro goes to take off their mask. And spoilers, takes off the mask. And it's a box for Half-Life 3. Yeah. And then the pyro opens up the...
At least that was somebody else, but yes, I saw.
No, it was on a Valve's official...
did they? Did they release it? That's awesome.
And then it opens up the case and there's a Left 4 Dead 3 CD under it.
Yeah, but I've been watching a lot of the things people have been making that are hilarious. So expect to basically rip off everyone else and I'm just going to spam a bunch of 8 to 12 second videos all over our YouTube channel of my shitty TF2 machinimas, all on Just Cool Enough. YouTube.
The best part is the voice actors, the people that try to be the spy. I've seen a couple of those with really crappy French accents or not even close. It's part Russian. You're like, well, no.
We should do the show on YouTube as TF2 people.
Well, I know people have been asking for that. They've been asking for video. And by people, I mean basically just Christina.
Well, more than that, have you been to... I conducted an experiment for anybody who didn't see it. I just uploaded the audio straight onto the YouTube with the show banners that Eric works so hard on that nobody sees. If you go to the Just Cool Enough site, you get to see a great little banner, but nobody ever goes to the site because everybody just gets the podcast their own little special way. So what we did is uploaded it right onto YouTube, so you can actually listen to the show on YouTube. You won't get any video; it just is the banner of the show, but it's pretty nice. And actually, we got some good comments on there too of people.
Joe will do this for at least 4 or 5 episodes before he stops.
Well, I don't know. Does it make sense? What do you think? I
posting Fitness Pal makes sense, but you don't post that after 5 episodes. So
I mean, I was not so much against it, but people kept asking me why don't you do it? I was like, because I don't care, because that seems like more work than I want to put into it. I don't fucking give a shit. Someone else could do that. And then Joe was like, I'll do it, and I was like, whatever. But people have been saying especially we have an email from somebody
Why don't we read this email that Ike is supposed to be reading?
Yeah, I'm trying to transition to things.
I know. We've been trying for the transition for like 30 minutes, Ike.
Well, whatever.
Sorry, still pooping.
Yep. Let's see. Well, we actually have 3 emails, not just one.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get you to
3
read
emails that we selected from the wealth of emails that we got at our email address, theshow@justcoolenough.com.
We got 3 emails.
The first part of this is fatty, fat, jerky, jerk, and Ike. At first, I was thinking, who is the fatty, fat? But then I remembered that Eric lost all that weight, so they must be referring to Joe.
I don't know.
Or they could be referring to me, but they actually used my name, so I guess by process of elimination.
I guess I'm the jerk and Joe's fat, but honestly, that can swing both ways.
Fatty, jerk, fat. This is from Jack Move. Hey, we haven't had one of those. Tripping Balls is the subject. He says, the title of this email is in referral how it is and how droopy my nutsack has been the past few weeks. Here in good old Massachusetts, they've been so droopy and sweaty and sad that I've nearly tripped on the poor things at least 15 times. It's a dire situation around here, and I believe I've taken care of the problem. Unfortunately, my place of work requires me to take my clothes off for money. Therein lies the problem. Tripping over my own balls or lose out on tips. I'll let you guys decide. Anyway, back to the reason why I emailed you guys. Fuck you, Joe. Yours in utter disbelief that Joe said he wanted an email from me. Jack Move. P.S. Eric, get a job, you lazy twat.
Well, I mentioned this on Twitter yesterday that everywhere I go, people seem to just assume I work at the place because I was at UCB waiting for a ride home from I went to an improv show last night and someone's talked to me about like, oh, is the show's going on? You think are they sold out? And I was like, yeah, but I mean, there's a wait list and stuff, so I don't know, they sell out pretty quick and blah, blah, blah. And they say, oh, thanks. And they walked off. And then I realized that they thought I worked there. Probably because I was standing behind a podium, which probably didn't. I mean, I can understand their confusion again.
Eric just carries around a podium with him all the time.
No, there just happened to be a podium there. I was standing there. At the time,
Eric was just being lazy, leaning on the podium.
No, when I chose to stand behind the podium, it was because that way I wasn't blocking the very small sidewalk, which already had a huge line of people, and there was a lot of people just standing about anyway. So it was about the only place to stand. But by the time this occurred, most people had cleared out, so I was just a random dude standing behind a podium that I must have looked official.
You know what always happens?
I said on Twitter that like everyone thinks I work at places, so that's as close as a job as I need.
What always would happen to me after I'd get back from Xerox, like you got to understand the job sometimes would require me to roll around on the ground and like look at printers and feed tires and stuff on different copy machines, like the bigger ones. And so, but I would dress relatively nicely. I'd have a tie and I'd have a nice pair of pants on and stuff. So when I would get done with work some days, I would look just dirty enough to be like middle management at like a Walmart or something because they don't have to wear the normal clothes. And it could be any store, Walmart, just Big Lots, Costco, whatever. So I would stop in places after I get off of work and like multiple people, it's maybe more than 6 or 7 people every time without fail would be like, hey, can you get that for me right there? And I'm like, I don't work here, leave me alone. And, hey, you look just sloppy enough to be middle management at a shitty like it was just like not even, it's not a compliment when somebody thinks you're a manager of a grocery store.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, like,
you are going places, friend.
He's on the fast track right there. Like, thanks, guys.
I get that at grocery stores, but that's usually just because my mom can't reach things, so she brings me along to reach things, and then other short ladies will be like, "Oh, he's reaching things for her."
Well, the fucking problem is that, like, across the store, like, one person sees one person ask me a question. And so they're like, oh, that person must work here. So they go around the whole store, like, coming for me. And like, hey, I need to return this. And sometimes I just give up and I just help them. I'm like
a crowd of people is chasing after you.
Like, I seriously, like, I told one guy I didn't work here. And and he ended up like wanting a leather couch, and I was like, I don't know, I guess I'll stand around and help you. And I feel like obligated to help these people. You don't want to not help someone, right?
It's almost as bad as my other friend Eric Sandburn, who's been on this show a few times. The Eric, he walks around with this like name tag pouch instead of a wallet. It's this pouch that's kind of large. It's got his name on it. It says like OMFG and stuff like that. It keeps all his money and his ID and all that stuff in there, but it's always like around his neck. So anywhere he goes, people just think he works there because he's got this name tag around his neck.
It can work both ways, though. Like, you can use it to do whatever you want. If you look important enough, you can walk anywhere.
Joe in like a furniture store. Oh, what kind of financing do you have on this? And you just roll with it, Joe.
It's actually 0% for this first year.
I'll take it.
If you slide a 20 into my back pocket, you just walk out with it.
The problem is I'm more knowledgeable about what I'm usually looking for than the people I'm talking to, so they're better off talking to me anyway. Yep. Especially like Best Buy. That happened to me before. I was like, I helped this lady get a printer. That's pretty great. Anyway, that was weird aside. We have more emails.
Well, we do, but I was just thinking, speaking of jobs, Joe, I had something that reminded me of you last night. 2 nights ago happened. Because I've been working as a security guard. And
Dr. Malcop?
No, I've been working at the past 2 nights, I've had third shift, so midnight to 8 a.m. And I've been working with some interesting people at patrolling a newspaper company, or a newspaper. And one of the jobs is a shack duty, guard duty, and I'm on the Rover. I'm driving around parking lots. But
awesome.
The guy I'm on with, his job is, aside from watching monitors, every time a truck pulls up that doesn't have an access card to swipe in, they have to stop. You take down the person's name, the company they work for, and what it is that they're there doing. Usually they're just going to receiving to pick up or drop off papers. So this guy pulls up for the Boston Globe, and my coworker named, I won't name him, looks at the guy, says, "What's your name?" The guy says, "My name's Joe." What are you working for? Boston Globe. Okay, wait, what was your name? Joe. And I shit you not. He was like, how do you spell that? And like, I'm standing behind my coworker, and of course we're surrounded by nothing but glass windows, and I'm just laughing my ass off. Like, the guy in the truck can see that I'm laughing at my coworker behind his back, like almost rolling on the floor laughing, but trying not to point out the fact that, I mean, this guy had like a complicated name, like Yentl or something like that. I can't remember what it is specifically. I couldn't spell it if I wanted to, but he couldn't spell Joe. So difficult. I give a lot of people credit who email the show. But speaking of Joe and the names and emails, Kurt from Van City, also known as Vancouver, I would assume, writes, "Fuck the subject. I fucking hate subjects. I'm currently listening to something like 10 to 15 podcasts, but I used to listen to up to like 30 a week when I played WoW or other grindy games. I stand by what I said in my last email. What other podcast has given the world such awesomeness as the 1-2 punch or cunt butts?" Which he put in quotes. The only podcast that beats Just Cool Enough is Max Speed. But that is only because of how on time Max Speed is every single week. So, do any of you guys listen to video game soundtracks at all? And if so, what any favorites? I had never thought of listening to them until very recently when I was thinking about instrumental music and shit, and I haven't figured out what I want to check out first. Cheers from Van City, Kurt. P.S. No new Max Speed to listen to. # white people problems.
I love you, Kurt from Van City.
I don't think he means Vancouver. I think it's one of those shanty towns that they built out. Like, there's one outside of Sacramento, only they chose to build it out of vans instead of tents.
Yeah, instead of Tent City, yeah.
Yeah,
it's like the upscale version. It's by Tent City, but it's just like
it's
a little further back.
It's like a better neighborhood than your traditional Hooverville, but not quite. Like it's not
still
like
Van City.
It's not like a Rio de Janeiro shanty town, but it's still not great. Video game soundtracks. I don't often listen to a lot of them. I mean,
but when you do,
I remember I listened to the Zelda soundtrack, the orchestral version of Zelda, mostly Ocarina.
Everything sounds good when it's orchestral.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time orchestral is pretty good. And and a little bit of I had the Metal Gear soundtrack to like all of them, like the first 3 games of Metal Gear Solid, which is pretty good. But also because they use some of the songs that aren't traditional stuff. But I mean, they can be good. It's hard. I don't know. A lot of them. I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of music for the most part. I wish I'd listened to more, but you know, there are a lot of them that are good, I guess.
One soundtrack that you might want to check out, it's a little bit more electronic, is Guitar Hero. No, I'm kidding. Is Rez. The game Rez actually has some pretty awesome music to it. And then you can check out. I listen to a lot of video game soundtracks in my spare time for some crazy reason, but I did like the this is my throwback, Andretti Racing for PlayStation 1. And that was, if you could find anything from that.
Nothing beats the soundtrack from Daytona, USA for the Sega Saturn. Daytona is going. Daytona.
That's kind of like the Andretti Racing soundtrack. Sometimes, EA Sports has some pretty good music selections with some of their games.
I don't think that's exactly what he made. Like, because I remember playing.
I know what he was going with, like actual, like the StarCraft 2 soundtrack or StarCraft soundtrack is great. But I'm saying like EA Sports has some cool tracks, and some of them from FIFA 12 were FIFA 11 was really awesome, and then I also liked FIFA Street 2.
I remember liking Need for Speed Underground 2's selection of stuff, like because you'd just be driving and then suddenly like Black Betty would start playing, and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna drift to this.
Bounce to the outs, more bounce to the out. So they had some good songs.
Let's see. I was taking a quick look through when I typed in soundtracks for video game soundtracks. I pretty much have every single album put out by Blizzard, even some more of the obscure ones like that they only released during BlizzCons. So those are pretty good. Anything like that, or even Diablo 2, Diablo 3. That's pretty much all the ones I have.
Tell you a tale when you start the Diablo one.
Oh, and Team Fortress. I pulled out the Team Fortress 2 songs from the folder. So they're about a minute long a piece, but they're still fun to listen to. And if you want one that's free and has about 30 songs to it, you can check out the Aperture Science Portal 2 songs, which you can get free on the internet.
They released all the Portal 2 soundtrack for free. So it's always good. I mean, there's a lot of it. Some of it, I don't know, tries like a lot of the soundtracks written for games these days are either kind of retro throwbacks, which can be good, or they're like super orchestral, trying to be movie soundtracks, and you're like, I don't care.
So we got one more email here in our email inbox.
One of my favorite songs from a video game is the Mass Effect 3. I forget what it was called. The song that plays. It's in 2 versions. There's one when you're leaving Earth, and then one when you're making the final decision at the end of the game. That's really just soft piano song. It's super really like toned down and stuff, and I really loved that song, that particular song. The whole Mass Effect 3 soundtrack was really good.
You know, I know exactly what song you're talking about. I actually was playing Mass Effect, and I had to like tab out, and the sound kept going for some reason, and it just sat there and played like some really good soft music, and I forgot I even had it on. It was great.
Yeah, that's one of the songs I'm gonna try and learn on the piano.
One of these days. All cultural.
Well,
Magic has a nice soundtrack too. That's for free.
I'm currently learning The Scientist from Coldplay because it's super fucking easy, and the opening part of Small Town Girl, which is not that hard either.
So anyway, more emails.
Well, our last email is from KON, aka Christina, and she said, and I'll start with a PS first. Joe made me do this video.
That's not even true.
Hey guys, I think it's great that you guys started to put your episodes on YouTube. But I think if you added the video of yourself, it would be, well, we're going hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, 304,594,035,934 times better. So make that happen. Okay. Thanks. Bye. Heart, Christina.
Yeah. I mean, we could probably do that. I've been thinking about it. I mean.
Well, I mean, like, I think we can get a lot more. I mean, people already go to YouTube to do shit.
Yeah, no, I'm not debating. I'm just saying, like, how I was thinking like how exactly we do this. That we could. I
have an X-Share license.
Yeah, I guess, but I have a webcam that blue screens my computer when it switches to HD, and I don't know how to keep it from not doing that.
So, okay, we need to get some donations to get Eric a new webcam. Go to justcoolenough.com and donate so we can all get some decent webcams.
Or I need to figure out how to make it so it doesn't do that, because it should work.
Take the wind out of the sails. We're trying to get people to donate so we can all get decent webcams so we can do this.
Or we can just use we can start using Google Voice or something. And
I mean, we'll have to research it a little bit, but I think it's definitely worthwhile doing. I am gonna post the audio episodes on YouTube. It'll be a little bit later. They're not gonna be out the same exact day, but I think that it's a good direction to go in. Thanks, Christina, for emailing us. Very nice of her. She called me on Skype and she was like, "You guys should totally do this." She was bugging me on Skype. "You guys need to be doing this. You need to be doing this." And I'm like, I agree. We do need to be doing this. Everybody's going towards video because video is what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Now everybody's going to get to see
Abandon the podcast ship. Abandon the podcast ship.
Still got to keep doing a podcast.
Podcast ship is sinking. Abandon ship.
Now you make it that's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Except it's more like horse and carriages and cars are coming, and we're still on a horse and carriage here.
No, I just think we've realized that nobody cares.
Speak for yourself. I'm still trying to invent the wheel. You got a horse and carriage ahead of me.
Well,
I'll make you a buggy whip for you if you want.
All I have to say is that if we are abandoning the ship, let's not do it in Illinois, because they got fish that eat testicles.
And by accident too, because people are idiots.
Yeah. So apparently,
get your testicles eaten.
Well, apparently they're in Illinois. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources has identified a species of fish swimming around in one of their lakes somewhere. I forget what Lake Lou Yeager or whatever. Who gives a fuck? It's a fish from Peru, or it's called the pacu. It's a cousin to piranha, and they mostly eat nuts and aquatic vegetables and snails and whatnot. But back in 2011, a fisherman in Peru bled to death after one of these things bit off his testicles. Why he was putting his testicles in this thing's mouth or had exposed testicles, I don't know. We couldn't ask him because he died because a fish ate his balls. So now these fish are starting to make their way into Illinois, which is fantastic for those who don't like having testicles, I guess.
Whoa.
I don't like mine. They're always getting in the way, and I think Jack Move would appreciate this too, because apparently he's always tripping over his, so at least they can get rid of them. There you go, Jack.
No. Did you say aquatic fruits?
No, it said aquatic vegetables.
What? That's even crazier. What kind of aquatic vegetables are there?
Well, it says vegetation. I don't fucking know.
Like it's like underwater green beans? Like that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe. Who knows? They got all kinds of shit. They got like avocados and that turn into guacamole and chickpeas turn into hummus. I mean, who the fuck knows these days? They got all kinds of crazy shit.
Point taken.
I was listening to the radio early this morning when I was trying to stay awake, and there was the guy on the radio was talking about how it was released accidentally or perhaps by somebody. There was one in a lake where somebody's just like, "Oh, I don't want this anymore," and release it into a lake. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but we did that with a turtle once. We
but the turtle doesn't bite your testicles off.
I don't know.
It could. Snapping turtles could easily bite someone's testicles off.
It was just a little water turtle. But yeah, I don't know. He could, I don't think his mouth was quite large enough to fit the entire. But I have seen my aunt has a bunch of turtles, and they go fucking nuts for cat food. Like they freak out over cat food. They fucking love it. The wet cat food. They will beat the shit out of each other to eat it and stuff. So I imagine if you happen to be swimming in a lake and accidentally drop cat food on your exposed testicles, some turtles would eat it. Because you have to be very careful. You feed it with a spoon, and they just fucking grab the spoon, and you're like, "No, give the spoon back!" Those fuckers love their cat food.
And they're spoons too.
Yeah, and it's fucking deadly. You need to watch out. But yeah, perhaps this is, because I know in Northern California we had the problem of in Lake Davis when one of my cousins, known as the Unipiker, released a bunch of pike into Lake Davis, and basically the pike killed all the other fish. So they first tried to poison the pike out, and that didn't work. Then they tried to drain the lake, and that didn't work. And now they just have pike.
Well, make sure not to
For
swim
legal
in that
purposes, I would like to note that this guy is not a direct cousin, and also there's never been any evidence to prove that he actually dropped the pike in Lake Davis. So please stop arresting him for it.
lake. He did it though.
Maybe.
He definitely did it.
His friends call him the Unipiker.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Dogs.
sounds like we have a special guest on this week's episode. Just cool enough.
Not
Like
for
gaggle
long.
of dogs.
Not for long.
Just one that won't shut the fuck up.
Maybe we can get some kind of police officer that works minimum wage to stop him.
Yeah. So I was wondering, as Dr. Malkop, how much is your pay above minimum wage?
It depends.
That's an awful question to ask.
I'm just
I don't mind. It's I have not yet actually worked at a mall. I've worked at a bank. I've worked at a high-rise apartment complex, and I worked at the Providence Journal for 2 nights. The pay for the high-rise apartments was $10 an hour.
Okay, so at certain points, depending on where you are, you may make above the federal minimum wage of $7.25.
Exactly.
And you did not go through any extensive training for this job?
I had 8 hours of training, which involved me sitting in front of a video camera.
Okay, and you did not have to go to any form of formal academy of training or receive any degrees beyond the ones that you already had that were
Correct.
completely meaningless. You don't have to maintain any rigorous standard of physical fitness.
Nope.
You do at any point have you ever been? Do you have to be licensed to carry a firearm?
I could be, but I am not.
Okay, so you are then a security officer who has no more than a few hours of training. It is not required to maintain any level of serious physical fitness, and does not have to carry a firearm if you do not choose to. And you can at times make more than the federal minimum wage, which makes you obviously a better police officer than the police officers in Scranton, Pennsylvania, because all police officers and firefighters, or at least they say, like, due to the city budget cuts, almost 400 workers have had their pay lowered from anywhere from $19 to $36 an hour to the federal minimum wage of $7.25 indefinitely, despite the fact that some of these people go through years of training and, I don't know, have to be shot at on a daily basis or possibly run into burning buildings to save your ass from burning to death. But it's okay because now they don't get paid any more than in a cashier at McDonald's.
Well, that's
They shouldn't.
good because like the federal minimum wage is so high, right? Like it's enough to raise a family on, correct?
Oh, definitely. Especially,
Yeah, I mean,
especially as we all know, cops and firefighters have just been raking in the dough. They just live lavish lifestyles.
Well, I'm sick of these police officers protecting us and then going back and driving their Bentleys home and just getting to those free massages and everything. They also get free dinner too, so that's a big perk from being a police officer.
I know.
They can walk into any restaurant in their city and they can get free dinner. So I think they deserve to have federal pay. The minimum wage seems plenty good enough.
Yeah. So I for one am completely supporting.
I'm 100%. I support it twice. I'm gonna fake another vote so I could vote for this twice. I like it so much.
Yeah, which is the American way. So
Yeah.
Hopefully,
Fake it to make it.
Hopefully, more cities in this great nation will finally realize that despite the rigorous conditions and the level of training and physical fitness required for these jobs, not to mention the responsibility they have to undertake for society's well-being, that just because of all of that doesn't mean they're somehow better than the the retarded and or elderly gentleman that works at McDonald's.
Oh gosh, you know what else really pisses me off? How much teachers make.
Yeah,
Our educators
they
make
get
far too much. They get a summer off.
Yeah,
they
they
should
get
just be able
3
to
months
sit
off too.
and chill.
It's crazy. It's basically a part-time job. They make.
I know, right?
All they do is sit around and just today read this book. I'm gonna grade your paper. It's bullshit. They make too much money.
I demand that this craziness gets ended right now. Who do I vote for?
You know who doesn't make enough money? Congress. They should really raise their pay again.
I think so. I think we should vote on it one more time just to raise it to something that it's like a variable that continues to raise up.
No, the problem is that Congress has only ever raised its pay every year for the existence of Congress. Like, it's not clearly enough. It's clear.
How is that even keeping up with our inflation?
When so many of our congressmen and senators leave Congress as billionaires, like they enter as normal folk and then they leave as billionaires. That's not fair that they have to live with that burden of having so much money, of learning so much about how to make money without the government's interference while in Congress, that they can still own stocks and trade and stuff with the knowledge that they are about to pass bills that benefit them and stuff like that. It's not fair that they have to live with that burden. So clearly they need.
Well, I mean, just think of it. Think of it. More money, more problems, Eric. You know, they make more money and they have to deal with so many problems.
That's taxes.
They deserve it.
I mean, once they start making that money, their taxes are cut in half. And again, they feel bad about that. And the only way to make it, if they give them a little money, maybe they can buy themselves something so they don't feel so bad about it. But
I mean, see how this works? Like they come in being wealthy, they leave being extremely wealthy. But because of trickle down economics, we eventually see the good in that coming down.
If we drop all of our first responders and firefighters and police officers and especially ambulances and just all this stuff, teachers, to federal minimum wage, then give all that money to Congress, then that money will trickle down.
The House of Representatives needs some too.
Yeah, I say Congress, but I mean both houses of representation, as well as our most of our executive branch. So, totally worth it.
Vote yes on
Proposition 101.
On Proposition 143.
Ron Paul 2012.
Yeah, Ike. So what do you have to say about that?
I don't have any. I don't care. They can, as long as people keep giving me money for being a mall cop. That's all I care about.
Well, maybe if these
greatest damn mall cop you've ever known,
Dr. Mall Cop, MD,
PhD.
Yeah. Maybe if these teachers and so-called firefighters want better paying jobs, then they need to take some initiative in this job market.
They should just join pro sports. Sports get paid a lot.
No, I mean, in this job market, it's hard to find work. You have to be slightly inventive about getting jobs. There's a lot of people who are overqualified for jobs, so you really have to really go that extra mile.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean overqualified? I think my master's degree is the perfect qualifications. I'm right on par with the people who can't spell Joe.
Yeah, you're underqualified because you're not a doctor. But you probably have taken really, interesting tactics to get a job. Like this young lady who was applying for a job as an administrative assistant in York University, just a summer position. But she wanted to really impress her potential future employers. So she wrote an email saying, I'm responding to your ad and I wanted to see if I could get this position, and attached is my resume. And as her resume was a picture of Nicolas Cage, his face grinning like a crazy person. She says that this was a mistake and that she meant to actually send her resume, but I think that this was just an elaborate plot to try and get, this job. Like, I mean, what better way? It's like, here's my resume, Nicolas Cage. That's like the internet equivalent of, like, here's my fucking resume, dick on the table.
And then it turns into a porn.
Yeah.
I had heard about the guy who rented out like the billboard to put, I need a job, please contact me at blah, and put on a billboard. I think this is taking that next step. This is
This is way cooler because anyone can just rent out a billboard. And if he's wasting that much money, it's like, well, maybe he doesn't need a job because he's got all this money for billboards. Clearly, he needs minimum wage. But this lady, she didn't have money for that. She had enough money to buy a picture of Nicolas Cage and send it
stock Nicolas Cage art.
Yeah. That's awesome.
StockNickCage.com.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with StalkingNickCage.com.
It's not for stalking Nick Cage. It's for Nick Cage art.
Yeah, actually, no. StalkingNickCage.com is for people who want Nicolas Cage to stalk them. Like, occasionally just show up at, like, events he wasn't invited to and like, show up at the doorstep and leave very sexual text messages. You know, it's a pretty interesting story. We're still trying to get it off the ground. I was one of the investors. But, you know, we'll get there. So let's say your elaborate ploy to get a job with a photo of Nicolas Cage doesn't work, and you're just tired of it all, and you just want to end it. Well, have I got the way to end it for you? Honestly, this is, if I ever wanted to kill myself, this is the way I would love to do it. A designer, a sort of engineer, has designed what he's called the euthanasia coaster.
Oh gosh, this sounds great.
I've actually heard about this.
It's actually just a concept, and there's a scale model of it. But basically, the idea is that it's a roller coaster that you first go up 1,600 feet and then plummet down and go through a series of decreasingly sized loops, reaching speeds of up to 10 Gs, and sustaining it long enough to remove all the blood from your head and basically kill you. Like, you'll pass out, your brain will run out of oxygen, and you will die. I guess the idea is a slightly more humane and fun way of dying. And honestly, like, if it was like you have terminal cancer and you're gonna die horribly in the next 3 weeks, it's like, hey, time for euthanasia coaster. Woo! You just kind of you scream your head off and then you just kind of black out and you're fucking dead. I mean, that's honestly.
I would like to point out that this is an older link, from September 28th, 2011. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because when I post things and you're always complaining about how much death I put in, I actually posted this quite a long time ago. Yes, and it got vetoed because we talked about death too much.
Oh,
It was our death episode special.
I don't know.
It was like the episode when your uncle died and like a cat died and like the cat got turned into a helicopter and it was like really bad.
Yeah, and I'm not. I didn't notice that this was from September 28th, 2011, because the date's way down at the bottom, and it appeared on Reddit, and I should know better because Reddit's like, hey, I found this funny video. And Reddit's like the equivalent of you. You're like, this week's Have You Seen This Shit is this video. It's from 2006. I was like, yes, everyone's seen that shit.
It's a classic.
It's not. I have a real problem with Have You Seen This shits that have been seen. Like, I was going to post that one where the guy's having the conversation with his 12-year-old self, but then I noticed today that it's like 6 million views on YouTube. I was like, yeah, everyone's probably seen that shit.
That's a really good video, though.
Yeah, it's good. You should check it out if you haven't.
We should call it, You Want to See This Shit Again?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you've probably seen this shit.
You've probably seen this shit.
This week.
I'm
You've
just cool
probably
enough
seen
that
this shit. Yes, I've seen that shit. That's how it goes. Speaking of which, have you seen this shit? What?
Oh my god, this is so funny.
Dude, you totally need to check this out.
Oh god, that's disgusting.
I saw that 2 weeks ago. This week's Have You Seen This Shit is a link that is considerably less views than 6 million and fairly recent because I think it came out yesterday or today. And it's actually a sequel to a video we talked about before, probably a long time ago. It's called Mammary Theater, Episode 2, Dance Practice. If you aren't aware, it's a series, it's sort of a puppet show. The last one,
I'd say it's a puppet show.
Was a birthday surprise party thing, but it's basically about these two girls trying to practice a dance, and just one of the girls can't get it right, and the other girl's berating her, but then telling her that she has it in her to be a great dancer. And it's a really interesting sort of puppetry theater, kind of funny and interesting. Also, the puppets are just boobs.
And there you go.
I probably should have mentioned that this is a video of
Is this considered safe for
rest-
work?
Probably not.
Definitely not. In fact, do not watch this at work.
It's a video of two boobs, barely covered with faces drawn on them with Sharpies.
Yeah, it's definitely
And
not
hair nipple
work
test.
friendly.
It's funny, in the description he talks about how he couldn't get the same person from last time, the same girl, and he said it's actually quite hard to find women willing to do this.
You have to sleep with them, roofie them, and then do it.
Oh my gosh.
Or just roofie them.
See, I don't remember ever hearing about this, but I can't stop watching.
Last one was the guy with the hat.
Yeah, it was a hat, and it was
It was
like,
a surprise party.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, these things are shaking. Definitely check it out. It's at justcoolenough.com. Oh my gosh, they're all over the place. Why are they dancing? This is just porn on YouTube. This is blatant porn on YouTube.
no. Although I have started recently noticing that some artistic quote unquote videos have been showing full frontal nudity. I was like, I didn't even know you could do that on YouTube, but I guess if you say it's art, you can show Shia LaBeouf's penis.
I guess
By the way, you
guess
can see Shia LaBeouf's penis on YouTube because it's art.
wait.
Yeah,
You can?
yeah, he was in this like video for this art student made and he gets butt naked and stands next to a girl who's also butt naked, and you can just totally see his dick.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a weird fucking video. It's totally like
That's going to be my plug for this week.
yeah. Just Google Shia LaBeouf's penis YouTube.
Sweet. Thanks for finding that plug for me.
You're welcome. Speaking of, I guess we've been talking about death a lot, so we might as well talk about it some more. I don't know if some of our listeners, especially some of the younger ones, the ones that don't live in this country, recently the Supreme Court decided in a 4-5 decision that the individual mandate for what has been called Obamacare is perfectly constitutional, and that's one of the main points that we're trying to undo this massive healthcare redefining piece of legislation from last year, and they decided that it's legal. So now the battle continues, even though blah 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 whatever. But basically, because Obamacare has passed, he's decided that now is the time to start these death panels, and he's going to just not even tell us about it. He's just going to start killing old grandmas, as he did this week. Apparently, the President Obama's motorcade stopped at this for breakfast at this family-owned restaurant in West Akron, Ohio. And the restaurant's 70-year-old owner was really happy to see Obama. She considers him a hero, and they served him and took pictures. It was all really great fun. Hours later, she felt a tingling feeling, and she was rushed to the hospital and was pronounced dead. Obama's killing old ladies. He's doing it. He's like, fuck it. Obamacare passed. Bam! I'm gonna kill all the old white women.
Well, this is what he's actually doing this on purpose, because we can't actually serve
Come on,
our
Fox
population.
News. I haven't seen you talk about this once.
Well, that's what's happening. Like, we have to kill off the older population because they're causing our healthcare premiums to go so high. So, I mean, we can't take care of everybody, but this is Obamacare right now, where we're doing this.
Killing old women and small business owners. Come on, Republicans, where you at? This is your bread and butter. He's killing old white people who are small business owners, job creators. Why hasn't I seen this on Fox? Like, where's Bill O'Reilly? Where's Rush Limbaugh? I don't understand why nobody's talking about this.
We're just cool enough is there for you, and we're more than fair and balanced. We're impartial
we're totally partisan. We fucking hate this shit.
What's other words for fair and balanced? Stat.
I don't know. We got journalistic integrity, though. That's for damn sure.
We got journalistic integrity coming out of our asses.
Yeah, we got so much journalistic integrity up in this bitch. It's not even funny.
Let's floss and fly this mofo. Well, at least you got to meet the president.
Yeah, before you die. I mean, who would you like to meet before you died? I mean, it's like a Make-A-Wish, only for a crazy old lady. Like they did that thing where Ron Perlman dressed up as Hellboy for that kid who's got cancer.
Oh, yeah, that was really sad. Don't talk about that.
Well, the kid didn't die yet. But who would, if they're like, Joe, you have cancer and you're going to be dead in 3 days. we're going to let you ride the euthanasia coaster, so don't worry. But who do you get to meet? You get one.
I want to drive a Ferrari F40.
You want to drive? That's,
I know that has nothing to do with a person, but
it's like,
yeah, that's all I want to do.
It's like, well, we said someone to meet, so fuck you. You don't even get the euthanasia coaster.
Then I don't. Now you die a slow,
Cancer.
painful death, sliding down into a pool of iodine after getting hit with razor blade baseballs.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Joe. Way to answer it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's awful.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about so much death? It's like Ike picked all the stories.
I didn't this week.
He had nothing to do with the stories. That's the thing.
That's what's so depressing. When I pick dead stories, nobody wants to read them, but we let Eric take over.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do if Eric if Eric picks the stories and we don't read Eric's stories? We just sit here and giggle for like an hour.
No, I read the headlines. No one says something, so we move on a couple of times till I say, "Why the fuck isn't anyone talking?"
Oh man.
Well, anyways, I think it's about time we stop talking about all this gay shit, like testicle eating fish and Obama killing old ladies.
Shia LaBeouf's penis.
Shia LaBeouf's penis. Nothing gay about that. And start plugging each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so my plug for this week is a video that I made sure to check that's not 7 years old, like some of my stories. It's called The Dark Knight and 60s Robin. It's basically a parody of like what it would be like if the final climax of The Dark Knight Rises, where the Batman's fighting Bane and stuff, like all super realistic and awesome, is interrupted by 60s era Robin from the television series.
Spoiler alert.
It's not a spoiler. It's just in it. It's funny. Get to see how that dynamic works out when a crazy, over the top, some would say gay Robin shows up and tries to help Batman fight Bane as Tom Hardy.
My plug for this week is Shia LaBeouf's penis. I don't know what the link is yet, but I will put it in the show notes once I find it. He's next to a girl. Don't worry. Don't watch it at work.
It's a weird video. Like, it's basically like, it's like...
Is it like 20 minutes of him just standing there, like getting like water poured on him or something? Like, what is it?
It's weird. It's hard to describe. It's basically Art School, the movie.
Oh, gosh. This is going to be awful. Well, that's my plug, though.
And mine's going to be my Instagram account, Ike_Dodge.
It's good to know. Also, stay tuned to because as soon as I finish downloading the Source Filmmaker, I'm going to be making all kinds of stupid shit, and I'm going to be throwing that all over the YouTube account like an asshole till people are like, seriously, it's not even funny. Stop doing that. So pay attention to that.
Pay attention to the YouTube account where you may be listening to this show right now.
Also, check out my Eric's opinion for Spec Ops: The Line, which I did this week. I thought it worked out pretty well. I was pretty happy about that. I did a nice little movie parody. I don't know if anyone understood what I was parodying, but
well, don't tell me. You don't spoil it for me. I didn't watch it yet.
Okay, well, fine. Normally, you're like the first one. You're like Google Plusing it before it's even like processed into HD.
I know. I like to be on top of things, but not this time. I've been saving it like chocolate from Halloween that you save for like a month later. That's what I'm doing with that video.
Also, if you check out this week's episode of Comedy Bang Bang on IFC, you can see my improv teacher with a sandwich for a hat.
Oh, delicious.
Yes. His line is, "Excuse me, do you know where I can get some mustard for my head garment?"
Are you in that video?
No, I'm not. I am not in an episode. It's just my teacher. They probably filmed it like a year ago. I don't know. But it's funny. And I was like, holy shit. I'm taking a class with that guy tomorrow.
Does the improv teacher have a funny name, like, to make people giggle or anything like that?
No, it's Joel.
Oh, well, that's kind of a funny name. Joel. All right, cunt butts. Everyone stop listening.
Wow, I don't think I'm just usually telling them to fuck off, and you're like, hey, calling them names.
Pull out all the stops on